My name is Elias Munsha, and I'm coming to you live from Munsha Law, our office here in Calgary, Alberta. And the last time I was live with you, we had debated our first Bakwetu TV Bakwetu. That's what we are calling it, TV Bakwetu. I've changed the thing there, the logo for this program. It used to be Munsha Law. Now we have changed it to TV Bakwetu. There it is, as you can see. So thank you very much for joining me today. I'm not going to deal with the issue of eligibility, because there is really no need for us to continue talking about the same thing. And I don't want to be offending my friends, you know. We've really stood together in so many things with my friends. So why should I continue talking about it? No. So not anymore. You know, I have a different view from my friends, so I'll not be making it into a big deal. Okay? However, there is one thing we need to talk about, the grade 12 requirement for MPs, grade 12 requirement. The reason why I want to deal with this is because it's very interesting, and it goes to the heart of the Constitution. So I'm going to explain a few things about the Constitution, okay? So some of you that are studying law or intend to study law, make sure that you tune into TV Bakwetu, because I teach law at no fee, in spite of running a very busy practice here. Some of you think that it's not busy, like I'm just lazing around, and then no, it's an extremely busy practice that I do. But because I'm passionate about education and legal education, that's why I come live, right? To talk about some of these things, because I'm really passionate about them, the law. Okay, so grade 12. How many are ready for us to talk about grade 12 today? Grade 12, okay. So in 2016, so these were part of the changes that 2016 brought, right? In 2016, we changed our constitution. President Lungu signed a new constitution. Okay, there is argument about whether it's indeed new or not, but whatever the case is. So 2016, we had a new constitution. So in 2016, the new constitution added some requirements for you to aspire as an MP. So I've just forgotten what that article is, but this is what it says, that if you want to be a candidate for an MP, you needed, this is how the language is crafted, minimum grade 12 school certificate or its equivalent. Minimum. So it uses words minimum, grade 12 school certificate, or its equivalent. All right? So I coded, the first time I wrote about it in 2016, that's 5 years ago, I called it the SUGO requirement, okay? The SUGO requirement. And so after that amendment was done, the Electoral Commission of Zambia went into overdrive, okay? And so they to tell them for them to stand, they needed to produce a verified grade 12 certificate from the Examinations Council of Zambia. That's what the Electoral Commission did in 2016. And so what I did was, I thought that was pretty unfair. Not only was it unfair, but it was illegal. What the Electoral Commission started telling the people was actually, it was unconstitutional. They were wrongly interpreting the Constitution. So I called them out and wrote several articles on the Constitution, several articles on the grade 12 requirement, picking what the Constitution actually says. All right? So a citizen of our country known as Sibongile Zulu. Now, sometimes I think that I know Sibongile Zulu. I don't know why, but anyway, Sibongile Zulu then sued the Electoral Commission of Zambia, and Justice Sichinga of Kabwe High Court by then, issued his decision in 2016 and actually said what the Electoral Commission was doing was actually unconstitutional. It was actually unconstitutional. The idea that the Electoral Commission of Zambia should demand verified grade 12 certificates was illegal. That is not what the Constitution of Zambia actually said. Again, the Constitution of Zambia said that the minimum grade 12 certificate or its equivalent, right? That's what the Constitution said. But ECZ changed it to say that you needed the grade 12 certificate. So instead, it should have, this is the direction that ECZ should have given. It should have said that you can, if you brought the maximum education requirement, then you've already met the grade 12 requirement. All right? But they made it sound as if you needed to produce a certified grade 12 certificate. Justice Sichinga said no, and I agreed with him from 2016. Now, in the present case, right, from, is it Chasefu or Chansefu? I can't remember very well, but what is this constituency in Eastern Province, the case that has taken 5 years to settle? So the same thing came up. So apparently, the member of parliament for Chasefu, is it Chasefu or Chansefu? Please help me out. What is it? Is it Chansemfu or Chasefu? Okay, so whatever it is, the constituency, you all know about this case. So apparently, this gentleman has some craft qualifications, So he took those qualifications, including some subjects in grade 12, some grade 12 subjects, and he submitted it to ECZ in 2016, and ECZ correctly accepted them, either as equivalent or as superior to a grade 12 requirement. And ECZ accepted this gentleman's qualifications, which I believe was correct. ECZ should have done it, and they did the correct thing. So now, Colonel Bizwayo Nkunika, okay, decided to petition this gentleman and say, he does not meet the grade 12 requirement. So it went to the Constitutional Court, and the Constitutional Court now ruled on the matter, right? The Constitutional Court ruled on the matter. And when they ruled on the matter, I agree with their ruling that this idea that somebody needed to produce a grade 12 certificate is not Zambian law. It's not Zambian constitution. A grade 12 certificate is just one of the requirements that you can produce. What do you think? All right. It's just one of it's not the requirement. It's just one of the requirements. What are the other requirements? Maximum education, grade 12 certificate, or its equivalent. 3 things. Those are the things that satisfy an academic requirement under our constitution. So now some of my friends are saying no, because what they are saying is the intention of the drafters of the constitution was that they wanted educated people to be MPs. Ati balefu ayabasambirira echo babikirepo that constitutional amendment. I have no issues with that. The intention of legislation is not what is in your mind. It's actually what you write. So the fact that drafters had intended ukwatabasambirira in the constitution as MPs is immaterial to looking at what the actual constitution says. The constitution says what it says. It does not say what you think it should have said, or it does not say what you are hoping it should say. No. So if your intention was to make the grade 12 certificate become the qualification You should have just said so. Now, you did not say so. So number say palasa tiyo mwafichinja. No, what we actually meant is this. No, the meaning of law is what is written down. The intention of Parliament is in the text of the Constitution, in the language of the Constitution, not in the minds of the drafters. So let me give you an example. If, for example, members of Parliament, in their debate, they want to ban the color red, okay? They want to ban the color. They say, we are going to ban the color red. Color red, we'll ban it. There will be no color red ever in the history of Zambia or something like that. But when they actually pass a law, instead of red, they actually ban the color green, right? In the actual law. Well, it is not red that has been banned, it is green. Even if they had actually intended to ban red, they actually banned green. That is how the law works. So there is no ambiguity. If intending to ban the color red, you actually end up in the actual text of the Constitution or in the actual text of the law, you've actually banned the color green. If you are a judge, there is no ambiguity there. You go by what is in the text of the Constitution. Textual. Textuality, the text. If you're mulembere. Not if you're mwalefu ayokulemba. Nangu if you're mwale elota, ate if you're mwalefu okuchita. So that's what happened with grade 12. Right? What do you think? Yeah. So some people went ballistic. No, it means then that you are watering down the grade 12. No one is watering down the grade 12 certificate. It still remains a certificate. The issue is that that is not what the Constitution says. So because of the importance of the grade 12 certificate, take later at you because the Constitution is so important. The grade 12 is so important. Therefore, it should be elevated. No. Imwenga mwalefu ayokuchita elevate grade 12 ngamwalirandide. Ati grade 12 certificate is the only thing that we want. Number tefe mwalandide yo mwalandire ati minimum grade 12 or its equivalent. So this gentleman of Chansemfu or whatever it is, he went and presented to Electoral Commission of Zambia. But he had mechanics and trades, some trade certificates. And the Examinations Council of Zambia followed the Justice Sichinga's decision and said, yes, you're welcome. Okay? That's very important as far as the law is concerned. Here is the second principle. So the first principle, text. The second principle that you need to, so the first principle I talked about is the text, right? The idea that the law is actually what you write. Okay, not what you intended to write, what you've actually written. All right? So when you are interpreting the law, you go by what is written, the natural meaning of words, minimum, grade 12 certificate, or its equivalent. If you change your mind and you say that, oh, we only meant a grade 12 certificate, then what you wrote is not what you thought. And so between what you thought and what you intended and what you've written, it's actually what you've written that expresses your intention. Principle number one. Principle number two, the Constitution is supposed to be interpreted liberally. Liberally. Meaning the Constitution is supposed to be interpreted in a way that includes rather than excludes. So if there is any ambiguity as far as interpreting of the Constitution, you would rather lean towards inclusion rather than exclusion. That is how you interpret the Constitution. So if you use words like minimum, grade 12, or its equivalent, it means you're going to broaden the equivalency as to include more people instead of excluding more people. If you want to exclude as many people as possible, you would rather be very specific regarding what you want to do. So you can't say equivalency and then and then claim that that equivalence means more exclusion. No, it means more inclusion. That's why the focus then of that requirement is going to be broader rather than more restrictive. So that's why the Constitutional Court is right. So you drafters, if you drafters want only grade 12, kulanda fye ngamwalire but twefu afibanani ba grade 12. Also they meaning afu aya poka grade 12 certificate. Ngefe mwalandire. Just like other jobs, you know, jobs. There was a law job being advertised in Zambia, and they even listed grade 12 certificate as one of the requirements. Specifically, that you must have grade 12 with credits in English and mathematics. That is very clear and specific. You can't go and argue that, no, I have a law degree, therefore I don't need this. No, because it's listed as a requirement. But in our constitution for MPs, it's not listed as a requirement. It is listed as one of the requirements, which means minimum, grade 12, or its equivalent. So the next thing I'm talking about is not part of the law. It's just part of the things if you're on. So I've given you legal principles. Now, legal principle. Here it is. In the spirit of inclusion rather than exclusion, if you say that what is equivalent to grade 12 and its equivalent, how would it apply to people who went to school in the 60s, Abena Kaunda, in the 50s and 40s, Abena Kenneth Kaunda? So, do you think then that Kenneth Kaunda's grade 9 education is equivalent to grade 12? Do you think Kaunda can be disqualified if you say that it's only grade 12? So can Kenneth Kaunda be disqualified to be an MP? Those are questions. The other question is, so if you say that only grade 12, what, you're going to exclude nearly 75% of Zambians? Aba kumirenge. Nibanga aba kumirenge aba kwete grade 12. Because secondary school kumirenge yaishiririza ma 2000 takwadi. Okwali fe secondary school ni kukawambwa so bonse abena mirenge bale yaida kumanza na kukawambwa. Takwadi ama secondary schools. So mwabachisa exclude bonse ati yo mkwa ekano fe grade 12. It's elitist. Mama. So if you leave any ambiguity mu constitution, it means number you're going to have it's expanded and inclusive rather than exclusive. Okay. So the next issue is carpentry and joinery equivalent to grade 12? Carpentry and joinery and other artisanal courses and trades. Of course, you know, as far as the constitution is concerned, why should it exclude carpentry and joinery? And mechanics? It doesn't. If the constitution wants to exclude them, if we don't under specifically, we are going to exclude the tertiary education such as trades, but it hasn't. So if you have issues with people who have done tertiary education in trades, that's your personal issue. Which time involve constitution, mufia upuba. The constitution yo ngamumona kwana kalimo ama trades people tabasambirira. That is your problem. Yo, the problem ya constitution yo. It's okay for you to be skeptical about it. How can a person grade 7 start welding? It's education way. Welding yenate education. If you wanted aba ngamwalire mba mu mulyoko bati icho tulefu afye muntu wachitafe grade 12 ba grade 12 epela nomba mwali wonfeshe minimum ero mwasa bomfya na equivalent epela. So if you cover at yo abena chwe mpara ba ko bari it's welding, they can't be MPs. No, they can. Kanga bari sambirira ninshi basambirira welding ba isambirire ku at a tertiary educational institution ifunda ma trades. Yes, because trades Trades are actually education. It's education. But we shouldn't even go to those arguments. All we need to do is to read the text of the Constitution itself. No, according to the text of the Constitution itself, it has not excluded trades. Trades are classified as what? Tertiary institutions. So if they are tertiary institutions, it means there is primary, secondary, and tertiary. Tertiary means third level. Okay, so primary school, secondary school, and tertiary. That's what it means. The word tertiary means the third level of education. David, Joseph, yeah. Now, is it possible to get higher qualifications minus producing a grade 12 certificate in Zambia? That's not the constitutional question. Kaenda, that's not a constitutional question. So the question you are asking is not the constitutional question. The question you are asking is how possible is it for one particular school or whatever it is? It is not a constitutional question. How does it become a constitutional question? It's not. The Constitution says that a person's minimum education is minimum grade 12 or its equivalent. If somebody has done tertiary education, it's higher than secondary education. And if they have tertiary education, then it means they do not need to produce the minimum because they have the maximum. No, but if you have issues with how they got their maximum, you can deal with it, but at least that's not what the Constitution says. If the Constitution wanted to exclude all those people with tertiary education but without secondary education, it should have said it. When we say minimum grade 12 certificate, we mean, if you have tertiary education without secondary education or without secondary certificate, you are disqualified. You should have said that, but you didn't. Okay? The other thing is, actually, yes, it is possible for somebody to have tertiary education without a grade 12 certificate. Everywhere around the world. It's not just in Zambia. Everywhere around the world. Abakote can go into university without producing a grade 12 certificate. In other words, their life experience qualifies them, in some cases, to go into university. So why should they be disqualified that no, they are not? No, if you guys have issues with the secondary school education, it's okay. No, but they could more constitution na your constitution can she quite a problem. No. Constitution has no problem with them. Go and deal with it. If you have a company, you can say whatever you want to say. Of course, following the law. You can say, okay, I want a grade 12 certificate, I want a grade 3 certificate and a grade 7 certificate. You can do that. Nobody can stop you. But do not import what you do in your employment. Constitution. That's not how it works. Yeah. Many depending on what you want to study. Now typing in is education. Even typing is education. What do you think is typing? Some of you educated people, educated, you need to go and learn typing. By a lawyer and a doctor, typing. Particularly you are a lawyer. You must know how to format documents. Not typing. It's education. 6 months. Certificate in typing. It's an education. At least from the Constitution perspective, why would the Constitution exclude typists? You can exclude them from being managing directors, but you can't exclude them from participating politically. Because Zambia is not a bureaucracy. Zambia is a political democracy, not a bureaucracy. Zambia is not governed by bureaucrats. Zambia is governed by the people. Politics. That's why politicians are the policy makers and the bureaucrats are the policy implementers. So you cannot bring what is needed to run a bureaucracy into what is needed to run the politics. You can't conflate the two. Okay? Yeah. Mr. Mosha, many teachers have been suspended for not possessing of grade 12 certificate. Why not to politicians? Because teaching and politics are not the same. Okay? Not only that, this is a fundamental question. Teaching is not constitution. It's not constitutional. Being an MP is politics. It's constitutional, right? The Constitution does not prescribe how the qualifications of a teacher or a lawyer. No. Or a medical doctor. The Constitution has no concerns with such matters. The Constitution has concerns with what? With relationships between the people and the state and the qualifications. Namba tekuleta mwatu mulandu wako watu ba teacher wafura ba grade 12 nishkanshi na constitution ine ifwire yala ndefi. No. If you want the Constitution to say what you want it to say, let it say what you want it to say. No, but if the Constitution has not said what you want, leave it alone. Ngamwale fuko what Constitution ipa level teacher. Ngamwale yebe that Constitution pala teacher. No. Mwalandirati minimum grade 12 and its equivalent. Every mwalandire Constitution. So why should a typist who has tertiary trades education in typing be excluded? If anything, abantu abaona Zambia, bantu basambirire chipeshaman. I wish that the Constitution included a little bit of a requirement. But if you want to be an MP, wiraiba kawarala ubungo kimasholi. Maybe that would have made sense. Number bonse to focus our attention on grade 12. Ukumona kona kalimo abashasambirira ebeva. But when you look at it, abeva bantu basambi ebwafia tukwete na basambirira. I cabinet yabalungu. It's one of the most educated cabinet in the entire world. No, that's an exaggeration. But it's very educated. The Zambian parliament has got very well-educated people. The problem is not with the lack of education in the Zambian parliament. It's other issues, character, moral fortitude, okushipa, vision, na leadership. Average the lack. It's not the lack of education. We have doctors, lawyers. How many lawyers in this parliament do we have? Extremely educated people, but they are extremely educated thieves, extremely educated fools, extremely educated thieves. So why aren't we focusing much more on character for political leadership than on the level of education? Why did they want to bring up the butane? Was butane because the people were less educated? Who were promoting butane? Extremely educated people. They disappointed me, but they were educated people who were promoting butane. People with certificates from NRDC, agriculture, economics, from NRDC. They were the ones educated, promoting butane. So in Zambia, we have no issues na bantu abashasambirira. In Zambia, we have issues na bakabwala ala epela, ubungo, busholi, kisholi, kimasholi. Those are the people we have a problem with. Na babufi, kubeja, ubufi. Those are the people we have problems with. Some trade courses only require grade 9 certificate. Yes. Wonderful. But it's tertiary education, it's trades. Why should they be excluded? They can be excluded from being lawyers, but why should they be excluded from participating in the political process of their country? They are not a problem. yo obwafya in fact twakwata nabo bantu basambirira ewa chitefi ntufya ko batuleddawa n'okutaabwa ati mwebasambirira kairi ati mwebasambirira ba good morning, how are you, I am fine. Nimwe mwiba ba accountant, nimwe mwiba ati between cash method and accrual method paliapene baiba. Between the two vouchers and shan baiba. Ebaleiba mwebo lekeni miebe user mwebe na chwempana na mwebe na mi abaleiba bantu basambirira mwebo obungo na buchiramo echo kanshi. If we want to solve a problem in Zambia, we must pay attention to character questions. Efire onaula Zambia, because even if you have a not as educated leader, nomba ngali kwata amano ayakwalesa amano yachifyalirwa ayin nokuibateba akateka bwino echo kanshikuolesha pamano yachifyalirwa uyu muntu atontonkanya shani achindika shani abantu ababombera shani. Very important. Value ya abantu achindika shani abantu. Those are the qualities that we need to be looking for in Zambia. Not to kuleta poifya kubata ma constitution na tiyo kanofyaba kwata ma degrees. No. Degrees alone cannot qualify leadership in our country. Yes, we need degree people kuomba, but not for political leadership for us to emphasize that you kanofyaba kwata ma degrees. No. Hello, Mwandini, even Zambian voters, they don't care about education. Basala vyefe barefu ya basala sala. Anyway. Minister of Justice. Imwena yemubali sambirira. Vachipaku. So if we nga mwateka vachipaku. Ero mwasa nsonda. Imwe president. Ine mukampera kapotonshi. So mlenje wa muri buli obuteko tamwakabe ama NRDC graduates. Na imwe. Education is education. No bantu nangufe wasambirira apa nono. Ka education aka nono. Not ka very big no. Ka education aka nono. It's still education aka ku NRDC. So nomba tatufuiro kola mwena mo abantu abakwata diploma from NRDC. No. Bantu abaleiba tati ma doctors. Vachipaku. Basimpemba ndeseka before nshira push okuverenga aleni bamdala amutishan. I'm a commissioner for Oaths under Gazette in the UK under section Court and Legal Services. Only legal executives act as commissioner for Oaths. Council, I'm eligible to file my nomination. Yes or no? Your nomination for what? For being an MP? Our Peter Simpemba, I think Mwalikwata, I think, yeah, why not? Mukachite file my nomination. I think you have either grade 12 or its equivalent. Because even your experience is equivalent. Kutu muntu 50 years at Yom Kwai demonstrate to us that you have grade 12. Imwe. 50 years umuntu alibomba in the public sector, in the private sector, has run businesses. You still are saying that no, takwata grade 12 certificate for politics, for public office. No. For being a lawyer or a doctor, yes. Number for leadership yako bomfyafya mano ayachi fyalirwa amano yako alesa. Epo mwafiko seshati yo mkwayo yumuntu tete ateke. No. Abasambirira obwingi. It's like the more educated you are, the more noble wafula. Awe imwe kuba be fair. Zambian politics should be emphasizing character issues. Dealing with things like Bokabwalala, dealing with things like ubufi, ubufi. Kuiba ubufi, nechimfulunganya, ichimfulumfulu. Kwali bafya abantu bachimfulunganya. Those people. Naba ichefye fya bufi. you know, okumoneka kwana kali mu bantu sana kanshi bale HFF yabufi. Yeah. Now, when I say this, I'm not saying that education is not important. I have 7 degrees myself, so I obviously value education, you know. Ndechita na PhD. Kachinga ni imonga ni abiri nga ni atatu, I can't remember, but ndechita PhD. So, education is extremely important, you know. But when it comes to political leadership, tufuira okusala entungulu shisha kwebate. Shali kwata amano yako walesa. Amano yachifiyalirwa. Compassion. Character. Entungulu shisha kwebate, if you need doctors, kutuwachita haya ama doctors. You don't need to be a doctor. One of Zambia's greatest ministers of health was not a medical doctor. Do you know his name? Do you know Zambia's greatest minister of health? Zambia's greatest minister of health is known as Michael Chirufia Sata. Michael Sata. No education. Tabasa ambiri ama certificates batu wadireba ECZ. Kuti bago chitasuwa bana abati urese banya batata mchalande. But ama certificates batu wadire ECZ to stand in whatever yadi ya katuish. I don't think he even showed it. I think it was just the time that Rupia Banda wanted to tighten him. Elobalan that you need a degree to be president, and we trashed that in 2011. We said no. But the greatest minister for health was Michael Sata. Michael Sata. Ukuya ku education yama nursing education. Michael Sata. A person who has no medical background. In the education sector, Zambia enrolled nurses, registered nurses. And these two educational systems never collaborated before Sata. It does not make sense to cover at Zen. Afiraya tamper registered nursing right from the scratch. I don't know. Afi change. Bana mayo, if you vale ama nurses, vale fuala ama dresses. Under Michael Sata. Bata mpoku fuala enshi, bata mpoku fuala utuma trousers. Achinja uniform, Michael Sata. UTH iyale nunca under Michael Sata yambo kununkira bwino nama doctors bambo kwata confidence in the system. He was not educated in terms of educated. No. Ali kweta mano ayachifyalirwa amano yako aleza. Ema qualities to furokochita emphasize. Of course, fimo vare lufyanya, King Cobra. But that is the kind of mentality that we need. Number we are looking for the most educated, and sometimes these most educated are the most nsharande pantukuri cybercrime bill. Pantukuti nalanda I cause emotional distress. Vanjikata. Twalyumfwa okwebati bali chita because as a lawyer walive mpia tusunge mpia shibiri as lawyers nyebeko. Tulasunga mpia shesu, elo tulasunga mpia shabene. Twalikwata ama accounts, omo tusungire mpia shabene. Tatusankanye fiyo. Nomba, nali umfuatu kwali baba loya bamo. Abaire mu mpia shabene, baya chitashani, baya. Pareteka rero. Ebakateka. Ebo nomba, no kutasha mulatashate ba loya. Omana. That's the thing. So nombo muntu wife ngateka. What happens? It's open season for all. Kanshi kulanda fya tuku atu bomba muibala adia muibala muikadira kumo nenseke. Kanshi kuiba ko panono. That is what has happened today in Zambia. Bomba muibala adia muibala. Again, emphasis on character. That is the most, in fact, namo constitution, if you baga bike po character shan, if you are para kwefu. Not if you are grade 12 or shan. Tanto nango grade 2 kuti ateka. Ngari kwa tamano. Ngale fo ama lawyers, kuti haya chita haya ama lawyers. Ngale fo ama doctors, haya chita haya ama doctors. Government Michael Chilufya attached. About nurse. No, he did not become a nurse. He did not become a doctor. What he did was he knew where to get nurses. He knew where to get doctors. He knew where to get cleaners to clean up the hospital. He knew how to treat Ifitumbi mortuary, how to organize people to go and work Mufitumbi. Pakowati akachena kachepanako. Shire Mutashokovati was a great leader. I have several reservations over the president Michaelson. But then for example, Yashani, how he did Ministry of Health in spite of having very not very good education. Anyway. 7 degrees like branch 2. Branch 2 are 7 degrees. If my degrees nangu nafika mbatiko kukunuma in masters ero ile bachelors of law ichikankala mano yachifiyarirwa. That's the most important thing. Ekute eutungulusha mano yachifiyarirwa. Literacy, of course, I have. Literacy is not good. No. What I'm saying is, yes, we need to go to school. Of course, I'm a school. I don't go to university. I have degrees myself. So we understand that yom kwa school is not important. Iwe grade to urekerefya kupenpa grade to atawo munshara ndera it's not important. It's important. Hello, education helps people to come out of poverty. Education, very important. We need education. Okusambirira in Zambia, we need it. Political leadership, even dependent on education. Hello, no. Political leadership should be dependent on amano care for the people. Muli ready? But Mark Chance, out amuli read no. Man, sorry, but Mark Chance tabachi ready. Tabachi ready. Elvis, I found you to be a good lawyer, especially how you argue and concluded critical issues. You once was a motivation for my law studies, but what? Have you completed your school? Very important. I'm motivated. What you think? No, it's I'm done. No. There are so many universities in Zambia. Now there are so many universities in Zambia where you can do a degree in law. So go ahead and do it. Now theology, in so many universities in Zambia, theology, education, even nama fees yariko fi reasonable panon. So take advantage of it and do it. Yeah, abantu bareta po amakwebo. So bareta po amakwebo pariririash. We can't. But for you to be interpreting, yes, no, I agree. That education is not good. All I'm saying is, umuntu wa mano kutachita haya abantu abazambirira to work for the country. No, but tekupanga dependent, much that de-emphasize character qualifications over educational qualifications. Amano yakuchwe mpala kumirenge. Ne yakushibuyunji. Mano. Yeah. Your intelligence, why can't you start lecturing unlike going into politics? Interesting. Who says that I'm going into politics? Who says I'm going into politics? Nomba tulekere bani ama politics. Tulekere bani? Who says they are then suitable for politics? Ebo tulekere? But people are going to vote for people that stand. That has been the issue. Where did this crop of politicians in PF that are stealing come from? They were opportunists. They went, stood, and then won elections. And now they are setting agenda for the entire country. And because they stood, you don't go into politics. Omuntu ngarefo okuya into politics. Kumuleka, in fact, kumuchitana encourage. So imwe bakabange singwa imwe. Mufire mwanchita encourage if I want to go into politics. You in fact become the campaign manager. I'm encouraging you to go into politics. Not to kwamba kui language yako but no, don't go into politics. What is wrong with politics? If you are satanai, I think I agree with you. If my politics, if you are satanai, no, ngalefo kuingira ma politics umuntu. Mufure mwa muchita encourage. No, kumuvotera. That's the critical thing. Bantu muvuavyo kuvotera bakerenka. Abantu that are truthful, educated, knowledgeable, tamuba votera iyo. Muvuavyo kuvotera bakerenka na makadas epera. And it stems from this language. No, you are too intelligent, go into lecturing and not into politics. Because mu politics mwaingira fifmayan evma danda heads. Nishmwa mfobwino. No. So even your degrees here, chawe. Do not lose dignity, Bwana. Be focused. Talk about the effects of Iwalungu. If I'm just focusing on things, tamumfwa. So kubika more a little bit of good things in my lectures. Gandela and the boring up. You will not even be listening. For us to keep people liking our page, you have to be a little bit more, kuchenjera. So kulatita express, you're expressing truth, but wasansha mo kuimba kati kusansha na desa kubika motuntu tumoto wako that people come back to your page. If our pages it's just pure knowledge, we have no boobs or bokos to show. Nothing. So we are competing with those things. Elohim efemwatemwa. That's why go and check my pages. My pages are go about abantu tapa nefe baranda po, bafula fie. Hundreds and hundreds of likes. Nomba ifo barande chishinga. You don't. So nomba kanshi. In our conversations, we use figures of speech, parables, sometimes jokes. You mix it all together. So when I say anything about degrees, I don't say that fya chave. No. Therefore, I mumfwe mukutikishe mfwe. And that it's not important. No, that's why I have them. That's why I'm still studying, because degrees are important. Yes, smart like Kevin Hart. How many people have Digiphone company in Zambia? Sorry, I don't understand. Kushta fiefitenge. Yeah. Again, ngamwareta mweri ashiri afitenge na la sevana. Because mwalanse kesha, when you are doing a broadcast like, even if it's Facebook, it's still broadcasting. So umfiro kulaseka with a little bit of dignity. Number, if you bring in iftenge, nalaseka, I'll do it without dignity. Nalase mwalanse vanya. Because of the how I'll be laughing. Edwin Soko. Atikushita fiefitenge no kuteka epera. Mwarite mwefitenge. Ifitenge. Do Zambian women know that Zambian men like ifitenge? I don't know. Is it common knowledge? Otherwise, if they knew Zambian men like ifitenge, I believe that women will be wearing ifitenge every day. Because they don't, because I'm surprised. mufitenge angora fo kuteka fitenge ai tetuteke ngata ukwete fitenge ai yeah chiwempala kumwesu. This is hilarious and you laugh weirdly. I love how you you laugh weirdly. So ini weirdly. Bishite mulande kwa tulaseka bwino. But weirdly. Don't forget if itenge shima people. No, mwamona. Anyway, it's true. You really need ifitenge to distribute the whole country for you to govern. Number, we need to go beyond ifitenge to actual articulation of issues. Not every day vitenge, every day vitenge. We need to go beyond that. Tekulore shafie pafitenge. Tekulore shafie pafiri mufitenge. No. We need to look at articulation of issues. That's very important. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other especially on this law? Which law? Cybersecurity bill? No, we've already spoken about it. It's very sad. On how it will be implemented, I don't know. I think we still have some issues. Maybe on the basis of the Bill of Rights, there could be some resistance to the bill. We'll see. Maybe it can be challenged in the High Court because it's very invasive, right? You offend someone, you are liable to imprisonment. So maybe it's ultra vires. It might be ultra vires, the Constitution of Zambia and the Bill of Rights. Okay. Concentrate on the purpose of the broadcast. Don't mind about those fake criticisms. It's true. Yeah, if you think, why? Okay, if you are a Zambian woman, please let me know why most of these Zambian men like coming to my broadcast and talking about Ifitenge. Could you tell me why? Yeah. Good evening. I always remember that day you came for your voter's card. It was nice meeting you in person. I admire you. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Fred Musiwa. Where did we meet? Did we meet at the voter's card thing? Yeah, we probably did. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for joining me today. God bless you and God bless our country and all the grade 12 people. Okay? So no one should stop you from standing. If you want to offer yourself for service, please do so. The Constitutional Court has already given guidance. If you have a mano ya jifiadirwa na mano ya kualeza and you have some tertiary education, you're welcome. Yeah. Mr. Munsha, are you saying that those without grade 12 certificates qualify to stand as MPs? No, it's not me saying. Here's a problem. It's not me. Mwimbe pesha yo teine. It's not me. It's the Constitution and the Constitutional Court. In other words, the Constitution of Zambia says that a person without a grade 12 certificate can, as long as they have maximum education and they have something equivalent to the grade 12 certificate. That's what the Constitution says. Teine. So, those without a grade 12 certificate, do they qualify to stand in Zambia? Yes, they do. But what qualifies them? It's the Constitution that qualifies them. Teine. Nemulanda, mulembe peshafye, ati ni munshalandire, teine yo. Ni Constitution yenu eyalando kwebat, umundu kutyaimini if they have minimum grade 12 certificate or its equivalent. Every constitution in Ireland, which means a person without a grade 12 certificate, if they have a higher qualification than a grade 12 certificate, then they can stand. Because grade 12 is just a minimum. So nangu at grade 12 ngana got a degree, they can stand. Ngatabako at grade 12 ngana got a tertiary education from a, remember, primary, secondary, tertiary. If they have tertiary education is superior to secondary education, so they can. What about abakote like Kenneth Kaunda bako grade 9? In my own humble opinion, their grade 9 is equivalent to the grade 12 now. Kenneth Kaunda. So Kenneth Kaunda doesn't qualify, can't be an MP. Nga Frederick Chuluga. Naena can't qualify. Nga Vena Rupia Banda. Did they have grade 12? By Kwatire Kwisa grade 12, Avena Rupia Banda, even if he has a degree in economics. And Michael Sata, no grade 12. They don't qualify to be MPs. Or Levi Mwanawasa, to make it specific, because Levi Mwanawasa failed math in grade 12. So that's not a full certificate. Grade 12 certificate, it does not qualify. No. Is it, Maman? Tekubika mu constitution if you mlefwaya mumutwe. No. My door is open, you'll be the bodyguard. No, coach the campaign. Tekulanda fia papa kanwa. Because it's easy ukulanda. But when we go on the ground, because in Onshta we are not on the ground, we are still in the air. Yeah, how Monday. Turekereva in Beneza Association. Mr. Musha, you are speaking some sense. I'm listening. Yeah, anyway. We shouldn't do that. Oh. Yeah, oh man. Fred Musiwa, you're confusing me. Sinda MP, I don't know. I don't know about the Sinda MP. Zambian in Zambia can't have an equivalent certificate because they write ECZ exams. Makangaru court yam Zambia, no bueno. I'm not going to repeat myself. Imwenga marefu at grade 12 certificate be the only qualification. Ngamwali fibikire in the law. You did not. Nomba mwambo kubepesha amakoti. No. Nishta mwala ndirefi at grade 12 certificate is the only qualification. What was stopping you from doing that? You did not include it. Tekupanga fe fintu mumutwe. Ero nomba mwafipanga na fiena emofya mu constitution. What is in the constitution is actually what is in the constitution. If it's constitution, if it's constitution, tekupanga mwaza panga fe fintu atiyo na fine emofidi. But the grade 12 is very important. Therefore, mwaza panga fe ati it should be. No. Karem kulemba. If you want lemba, if you have. And what have you written? Minimum, grade 12, or its equivalent? Minimum. Yeah, the great talkative is a great liar. Hi. God bless you. We are at 1 hour exactly. God bless you and God bless our country. Thank you.